Hello all. I didn't take the CAT exam this year, 2022, right? But all of us, almost all of us in our office, took the exam, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from all three sections, right? The overarching theme is that people are not satisfied by how they have prepared or how they have performed in the exam, and this is majority. I'm not saying it is for everybody, but it is majority thinks that I could have done this better, I could have skipped this question, I could have attended two more questions. If I had known how to handle this question, I could have done that better. And sometimes this even applies to Rajesh sir. So that is how tricky the paper is. I wouldn't want to call it as difficult per se. If the questions are similar or slightly tougher, it is not too difficult a paper, but the paper can get tricky and murkier without having to be too difficult, right? So remember, it is 1 2-hour exam that doesn't have to define who you are. So remember that very clearly, right? Our own Arvind went to NITI after his 5th CAT attempt. I went to IIT Madras with 5 years of work ex and 4th CAT attempt. Right? A lot of people go to fantastic schools at a large number of CAT attempts, which people usually look down upon for no good reason. Right? People think, oh, you have 3.5 years of work ex, you're losing the sweet spot. No. See, not everybody is aiming to get into your Goldman Sachs or whatever your investment firms and your McKinseys and KPMGs of the world, right? There are people who are slightly above average even in your IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Indore, Trichy, any B school that you go to, right? You won't believe it when I say it because you have not yet gone there, but I can tell you for sure there are people who are not rock stars all their life, who are part of a very integral part of any batch in any top 15, top 20 B school that you can take, right? So remember that you don't have to be extraordinary all your life in all your facets throughout. It is fine, right? So this is 1 2-hour exam. It doesn't have to define you. If you have more than 4 years of work ex, 3.5 years of work ex, there is no downside to giving CAT. There is no downside to getting into a B school with 5 years of work ex. You have 7, maybe slightly. If you have 5, I don't think there is a downside. People might say, hey, a bunch of roles don't shortlist me, right? Bunch of companies don't shortlist me. It is the same for freshers as well, right? Freshers, a bunch of companies or at least a good number of companies don't shortlist freshers. They come in with, I want IT experienced people. I've seen companies in DOMS IIT Madras who say, I want people with at least 2 years of IT relevant experience, right? So some companies say, I want manufacturing experience. Some companies say, I want operations experience. So it happens, which means freshers also don't get shortlisted in every single company that comes to that visits the placement, right? Visits the campus. But why is that not looked down upon? But when somebody has 4.5 years, 5 years of work ex, and obviously he doesn't get all the shortlist, why is that looked down upon? That is a myth. I want to break it so badly, because every time I speak to someone who says, I have so much work experience, why do I even think about getting into an MBA? It is not true. There are a bunch of companies, you have a good shot at it, why will you not take it up, right? So definitely go for it, right? I digressed a bit, but it is important. So remember that if your CAT hasn't gone really well, it is fine, right? How is it fine? First thing, it is okay to write this exam the next year. Second thing, you have done so much run up to CAT, right? You have prepared so much. Maybe some prepared for 3 months, some for 9 months, some for a year, year and a half. That is completely fine. You have increased and you have gone up to your peak of performance. Might or might not have come out as you wanted it to be, but that is where you have reached. From there, you don't have to dip, but you can continue your preparation and nail your IIFT and XAT and NMAT and SNAP if you have option to write those as well. Right? IIFT is probably 2 weeks from now, thereabouts 2 weeks from now, and XAT is thereabouts 4 weeks from now. So make sure you make those adjustments the other exams need. IIFT used to be a speed game with 6 subsections, with each of them having an individual cutoff. I don't know what's the pattern this year, but definitely you should check that out. Right? So look at how is this paper different from CAT? What adjustments do I need to make sure I can do IIFT well? Right? Do that for 2 weeks. Once that finishes, you then think about what does XAT need? Right? What is BDM? Why is that a monster? Why is GK super important? GK is not super important for XAT because it doesn't count on your percentile. When does it count? GK percentile counts when 2 people are at the last seat, right? Then based on your GK scores, you will either be admitted or not be admitted. But Not everybody is going to face that. Right, it's fine. So you have lot more things that are under your control, so go for it. Your CAT preparation is super helpful for every other exam, about 80-85%. The remaining 50%, 1-5, is about either tweaking your temperament for that particular exam and covering some ideas that are not being discussed in CAT. For example, syllogism might feature in some other exam, but it is not a part of CAT at all. So make sure you cover those topics. Business decision making is new. It is not covered in CAT. I don't think IFT has it. But XAT relies on business decision making. So make sure you have that. XAT also, I believe last year there was no sectional timers, right? You can write the exam as and when you want to. As and what I mean by that, you can spend a lot of time in quant if quant is your weak section, and spend very little time on verbal if verbal is your strong suit, and get a fantastic overall score, right? So don't agonize over what has happened, but look forward to it. Is super helpful to look forward to, right? At the cost of sounding cliched, right? There is this billboard sticker vagera that you see where they say the rear view mirror is this small but the front glass in a car is so big. You should look forward what is there. You can't keep looking at the rear view mirror because then you will crash somewhere. So make sure you look forward to, even if something did not really go well as you expected, right? All the best wishes. Do well with your IFT and XAT. Best wishes from all of us here at 2IIM.